How's it going, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode of the Celly Hard Podcast, where we talk about all things hockey and all topics about it. Now, for this episode, we don't have no big guests, but we have someone who has some knowledge about hockey. Please welcome, from Mayor Machine, New Brunswick, Matthew Lirette.
Hello, what's going on, guys?
Alrighty, thank you, Maddie, that's his nickname, by the way, guys. Sorry for any inconvenience. And for the screen, this is the budget limit, because this is our first ever episode, and don't mind our chip eating and water drinking. Alrighty. So, Maddie, do you have any words to say first before we get going?
I haven't really talked about or learned anything much about hockey lately, but I think I still know quite a bit about it.
Alrighty, Maddie. We might test you a little bit on knowledge, but at the first of this episode, not quite. Recently, the NHL has announced some award nominees, and I want to know your thoughts about them, if you would change any of them, and who do you think would win. First up, we have the Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy. This goes to the player who is most dedicated to the game. First up, we have from the Philadelphia Flyers, Oscar Lindblom. Do you think he deserves a spot?
Oh, yes, 100%.
100%? Alright, that's good. Next up, we have from the Ottawa Senators, Bobby Ryan. We have Bobby Ryan.
He definitely deserves a crack at the list.
And then, to finish it off, we have Stephen Johns. Stephen Johns.
I haven't really heard much about his name, but...
Same here, from the Dallas Stars, if that helps. Alrighty, so what is your thoughts on this list? Is there anything you would change about it? Anybody?
Oscar Lindblom, Oscar Sharon. Hopefully he's still doing well with his cancer treatment.
If you haven't heard already, he has rang the bell and is done with his cancer treatment, and he's cancer-free.
Okay, that's good to know. And, okay, and Bobby Ryan, is dealing with a drug addiction, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Yes, that is true, Matthew.
Okay, yeah, got rid of that drug addiction, continued to play hockey.
Speaking of that, he came back with a hat trick that night. What a show for the man we know.
To be honest, getting rid of a drug addiction is very, very hard, of what I've heard.
And to go back into playing professional hockey, professional sports, is incredible. Props to Bobby Ryan. And what about Stephen Johns? Do you think he deserves a spot?
I don't really know what he did, why he deserves a spot, but I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm not sure the reason he's on the list. But yeah, he might have a crack at it. I'm not sure.
All right.
It's most likely between Oscar and Bobby Ryan.
Yeah.
Oscar had to deal with cancer, and if Oscar came back late in the season and played hockey after his cancer, definitely 100% goes to Oscar.
Alright. Now, do you think anybody else deserves to be on this list? We'll just give him a moment, please. Just give him a moment. Alrighty, let's ask him again. Who do you think deserves a spot on this list? Do you think you would change anything about this? Do you think, in my opinion, I would put Jay Bouwmeester instead of Stephen Johns? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Or do you think... Or, yeah, do you have other opinions? I think there's much.
Honestly, I think I would put Evgeny Kuznetsov.
Let me hear.
That thing he did with, crack at the start of the year.
So I guess that's family friendly? Trying to, at least. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so out of these three nominees, who do you think deserves it? Excuse me.
I think I'm gonna go with Oscar Lindblom.
Oscar Lindblom? Alrighty. I would choose that as well. Next up, please don't be biased with this one, but we have the Lady Byng Memorial Trophy. The player with the most gentlemanly skill on the ice. Now, first up, we have the part where I said not to be biased. We have Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews. Your thoughts on that? Do you think he deserves to be on there, or do you think not?
So say the Lady Byng again. What's the award for?
The Lady Byng Memorial Award is for the player who demonstrates the most gentlemanly play on the ice.
I feel like you could have a different player on there, but
he's a gentleman is what he's trying to say.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say, excuse me. Sorry for that Austin Matthews background. We tried to get a black background or a white background, but this PS4 didn't want to deal with us. And once we found a white one, it wouldn't let us record, so deal with it, please. Next up, we have Nathan McKinnon. Deserve a spot or no?
Yeah, 100%. Deserves a spot. He's a man. He was only allowing one signatures per hat, and he ended up signing my hat and my cousin's hat.
Yeah, he's talking about me. We're related. And the last nominee, who I would choose for the winner, is Ryan O'Reilly.
Okay, out of all those three people, I would definitely pick Ryan O'Reilly. He's so Canadian, Canadian. Ryan O'Reilly, could you get a more
Canadian podcast, sorry.
Could you get a more Canadian name than Ryan O'Reilly?
I literally said sorry for the dumbest reason. So you think Ryan O'Reilly deserves it?
100%, yeah.
Alrighty.
But I feel like there's gonna be some people that are biased and vote for McKinnon or Matthews.
But people are biased in this world, and I'm one of them. Alright, next up we have a debatable trophy. We have the Calder Memorial Trophy. This award goes to the rookie who demonstrates the best offensive, defensive, and all-around play in his first debut season.
Yeah, this one's going to be a good one.
The nominees are, there's two obvious ones, Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar, and Dominic Kublik of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Dominic Kublik did have a great rookie year. I will say that. He was in the top 10 for points for quite a bit. Then he dropped off after a while. But, yeah, Kublik, a well-rounded player. Obviously not at the level of Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar. But Quinn Hughes, Grace, honestly, they're both the same type of player. Personally, I would say, Quinn Hughes, with the young Vancouver team, I feel like Cale Makar had so much more support with McKinnon, but Quinn Hughes on the Vancouver team didn't have much around him, and he kind of had to play with himself. So I'm gonna have to go with Quinn Hughes on this one.
Quinn Hughes, I would choose that as well. I don't know if this helps you any, but Dominic Kubalik had 30 goals this season.
Yeah.
He's a goal-scoring machine.
Cannot wait to see his future.
A great future will come for Kubalik. Personally, I feel like that Cale Makar will win the award just because people think he deserves it. Alrighty, sorry for that turn down, and that little thing that popped up. That was just one of my friends, Matthew here. Okay. Alrighty, next up we have the Jack Adams Award. The Jack Adams Award goes to the best head coach on the ice and that led his team to victory. First up we have John Tortorella of the Columbus Blue Jackets, Bruce Cassidy of the Boston Bruins, and I'm sorry if I pronounce this wrong, but Alain Vigneault of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, whatever his name is for the Flyers, he definitely did a great job with his team. I'll tell you that. That Philadelphia team.
Agree.
That Philadelphia team was not so hot at the start of the year. That man got in charge, and he just led that team to victories after victories after victories, putting on bright lines. Like, honestly, I think I'm gonna have to go with the French guy. I forget his name at this point, but probably the French guy.
If in my opinion, I would probably go with him as well. And by the way, this is no planned, no script at all. And I would take out John Tortorella and replace him with either Mike Sullivan or Craig Berube.
Yeah.
Alrighty, enough with the award. Oh yes, I'm sorry, I forgot an award. This award is the Ted Lindsay Memorial Award, the player voted MVP by the NHLPA staff. The nominees for the award were Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers, Artemi Panarin of the New York Rangers, and Nathan MacKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche, as we discussed him earlier in Lady Pain.
To be honest, Draisaitl had one of the biggest breakout seasons. Like, man, that man popped off. Like, they might say it's just because McDavid was on his line. He played a lot by himself and carried him and McDavid teamed up together and hard carried a trash Edmonton team. I wouldn't really say trash. Most of them are pretty bad compared to the others. So, yeah, Draisaitl deserves a pretty good spot on there. As if McKinnon, he's got Landeskog, he's got Rantanen, he's got Cale Makar, which we discussed earlier. And, like, yeah.
Personally, I think the award should go to Artemi Panarin. Artemi Panarin is he was an underdog. He didn't even make the All-Star team this year, and at least one player from each team has to make it, and the fans voted for Chris Kreider. And terrible selection. And for Artemi Panarin now to be in the MVP race, he popped off at the end of the season, and from being selected in Chicago, he did well there. Then get undrafted player, yes. And then he got traded to the Columbus Blue Jackets, did well there.
He got a Rookie of the Year in Chicago, by the way.
Yes. And then, this offseason, he got traded to, as we all know, the New York Rangers.
No, he got signed.
He got signed. I am very sorry for that, for the inconvenience. Thank you, Matthew, for that correction.
Yeah, because I was just going to say, I'm not sure the exact amount of money they paid him, but according to everyone, they overpaid him and they thought he wasn't going to do much this season. Prove those haters wrong. Made his contract seem like an underpay. And to be honest, though, I think I'm going to have to go with Draisaitl. First one me and Thomas disagree with. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with Draisaitl.
Personally, in my opinion, Draisaitl has an amazing potential. He was the Art Ross Trophy winner this year. He had the most points in the league. Personally, I just think because Connor McDavid was player there, and I think he just led them, and he taught him, he was his influence. He was always passing to him. He passed to McDavid, and McDavid got the goals. And the opposite as well.
Even when McDavid was injured, Draisaitl was still pretty he was still popping. But that's just my opinion. You can really say anyone there. They're all great players. Yeah. So what's the next topic?
There is no topic now. We're going to be doing a NHL trivia quiz.
Okay.
Old and new. Alright. These are some hard questions, but they're also easy. Excuse us for that. There's a joke that we made. Alright, first up, this may be hard, but who was the 2004 NHL Rookie of the Year? These are multiple choice questions. There are Andrew Raycroft, Barrett Jackman, Trent Hunter, and Alexander Ovechkin.
Alexander Ovechkin. Oh, what year was he drafted? Was he drafted in 2005? I'm pretty sure he was drafted in 2005. Would I be correct?
I'm not going to say anything. I cannot
okay.
give you...
Alright. That's fair. Okay, but I think Andrew Raycroft won it in the late 1900s, like in the late 90s, like maybe 2000s. But
So
I think I'm gonna have to go with Trent Hunter.
Trent Hunter, final answer? You are wrong.
What's the correct answer?
It is Andrew Raycroft.
Oh, okay. I was expecting him. I had to go with him or Trent Hunter.
And this, like, you have to click the answer you go for, and you have to just keep clicking it until you get it right. So we always get the right answer. Next up, this might be hard, but it's probably very easy. Yeah, this is very easy. Who was the first NHL commissioner? Frank Calder, Gary Bettman, Mike Barnett, or Wayne Gretzky? So I think we know it's not Gary Bettman or Wayne Gretzky.
So wait, what's the third one?
Mike Barnett. And
I'm
Frank...
gonna have to go with Frank Calder. Final answer.
Incorrect.
Okay, the other guy then. What?
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 As a matter of fact, it is Gary Bettman. The first NHL commissioner was on December 11th, 1992. There's never been a commissioner in 1991 and beforehand.
So he's been the only commissioner in history.
You could say that.
Okay, well, you learn something new every day, folks.
Alright. This is very easy considering I met him. Oh shoot, that gave away a big hint. Who roared to the NHL stardom as the Golden Jet? Is it
Brett Hull. Or Bobby Hull. Oh, Bobby Hull.
Is it Bobby Orr?
Bobby Hull.
Wayne Gretzky?
Bobby Hull.
Gordie Howe?
Bobby Hull.
Or Bobby Hull?
Bobby Hull. I said Brett Hull first, but that's the Golden Jet.
Yep.
And the Golden Brett. I'm stupid.
What? I don't understand this second name. But anyway, who was the first NHL team to win back-to-back Stanley Cup titles? Is it A? Or there's no A. Is it the Montreal Canadiens? The Vancouver Millionaires? Exactly. The Ottawa Senators or the New York Rangers?
I'm gonna have to go with the Ottawa Senators.
The Ottawa Senators? That is correct.
Yep, the old Ottawa Senators. Back-to-back 1907, 1908. Am I right?
On April 4th, 1921, the Ottawa Senators defeated the Vancouver Millionaires
Not even close.
in 2-1 in the decisive fifth game of the 1927 Stanley Cup Final, who became the first team to win back-to-back Stanley. And this might be hard, but might not. What year was the offsides rule introduced by the NHL? Is it 1930, 1950, 1970, or 1990?
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to go with 1970. Final answer.
Incorrect.
1990.
Okay, no, you only get one answer.
I know.
1930. The offsides rule was created.
Okay.
Number 6. The first NHL All-Star Game was held as a benefit for what injured star? And I know this one. And I read about it a lot. Is it Eddie Shore, Ace Bailey, Harry Morenz, or Silvio Manta?
Say the question again. You were kind of...
The first NHL All-Star Game was held as a benefit for what injured star? Is it Eddie Shore, Ace Bailey, Howie Morenz or Silvio Manta?
I know Ace Bailey was like, he got like hit to the ground in the back of the head or something by someone.
I'll tell you the story. Once upon a time, it's a game in about 1920, in the 1920s.
Ace Bailey.
Ace Bailey is your final answer? And Ace Bailey, it would be correct.
Yeah.
Actually, in 1934.
I know, Ace Bailey got like punctured to the ground, didn't he? And on the ice.
And in a game between the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs, a Toronto Maple Leaf forward targeted Eddie Shore and cross-checked him to the ground. Eddie Shore was furious and mistakenly targeted Ace Bailey and ended his NHL career, even though he was innocent. Yeah. Alright. Next up we have, who was the fastest player in NHL history to reach 1,000 career points? Is it Eddie Shore, Wayne Gretzky, Guy Lafleur, or Mario Lemieux?
I know Gretzky got it before Lemieux. It's between Shore and that other guy.
Guy Lafleur?
I feel like Gretzky's too obvious, but I'm gonna go with Eddie Shore.
Eddie Shore?
Final answer.
Nope. Wayne Gretzky. On December 19th,
It just seemed a little too obvious.
December 19th, 1984. That is my birthday. That is my birthday, boys and girls, male and female. We're going to do...
Transgender.
Okay. Transgender, gay, bisexual, no...
Whatever you want to say.
You know, black, Muslims, Arabs, those the same thing, I think. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you don't know this, then you are off the podcast.
Okay. Alright, I'm scared now.
So this is very obvious. What player set an NHL record in 1976 with 10 points in one game?
Okay. I don't even, no, just don't even. Daryl Sittler, final answer.
Daryl Sittler is correct. Who's the first NHL player to score 50 goals in this season? If you don't get this, you are out of the house. I don't care that this is your house. You're out of the house.
Okay, pressure.
Who is the first NHL player to score 50 goals in a season? Is it Gordie Howe, Eddie Shore, Wayne Gretzky, or Maurice Richard?
Maurice Richard.
That is incorrect.
Oh, no.
I am kidding. It is correct.
Okay, good. Okay, thank God.
As you can see.
Oh, okay. I thought I was about to get kicked out of the house.
Your own house. And the final question. Yes, this is the final question. Who was the first hockey player to win Sportsman of the Year honors from Sports Illustrated? Eddie Shore, Bob Bourne, Bobby Orr, or Wayne Gretzky?
Bob Bourne. Final answer.
Bob Bourne? That is incorrect. Bobby Orr was named Sportsman of the Year by Sports Illustrated in 1970.
Okay, this is kind of off topic, but I kind of feel like Eddie Shore was in every single one of those questions.
He was in quite a bit.
Yeah, he was basically in almost every one.
Alrighty, guys, that is the very end of this podcast. I appreciate you all joining this podcast. If you guys did happen to enjoy, make sure to like this video. This will be on YouTube, so like the video. Subscribe for more podcasts and more hockey content, and comment some guests you'll like to see. I'll try my best to get maybe some famous people, and hopefully I'll make it big one day. If you're here, I'll remember you. So like the video, comment down below. This has been the Celly Hard Podcast.
Good luck, my man.
Good luck. Thank you. That has been the Celly Hard Podcast, and I'll catch ya in the next one. And remember, Celly Hard on those kids.